Hey guys, today it's time for another monthly recommendations video. So this month's topic are books I'm thankful for, and I just love this topic. I could not do this topic. I did my first one of these a couple of months ago and haven't really done one since because it never really fit into the schedule or it wasn't really my kind of topic. But books I'm thankful for is like the best fucking topic. I have 9 books to talk about and I'm just so excited to talk about these. I just think this is such a wonderful topic and I just cannot wait to see everybody else's videos. Now, I did kind of try and sort mine in a way that is like least thankful to most thankful. No, like obviously all of the ones included are ones I'm incredibly thankful for, but you will kind of see when I go through these that, you know, the ones that I mentioned first are really special, but the ones that I mentioned in the end are like books that like shaped my life. And yeah, you will see. I think most of you will kind of see the theme in them. Anyway, so first off I have If You Could See Me Now by Cecilia Ahern. Now I read this before BookTube. I actually still read that in German, even though now I actually finally have an English copy. But Cecilia Ahern was one of my like auto-buy authors for a really long time, and I think I probably would have mentioned her as my favorite author as well. I just really always enjoy her style of writing and the kind of genre she writes in, and I think this was the second book I read by her, and the first one I read was Where Rainbows End / Love Rosie, and that one was good. But when I read If You Could See Me Now, I just fell in love. This was one of my first favorite books of all time. Like, I didn't really read much back then, but I fell in love with this book so much. The very basic premise of this is that basically this adult woman leads this like super hectic life and she just doesn't really appreciate any of it anymore. And she just kind of lives to work and, you know, everything is just kind of looking super dull. And then this like imaginary friend shows up and it's supposed to be for her sister's son who she's taking care of, but the main character actually ends up being way more affected by this imaginary friend's presence. Oh my god, just thinking about this, even though I read it like so many years ago now, still gives me so many happy feels. There's certain scenes in it that I still remember so vividly. It's a beautiful book and I'm so thankful I read it. Then I have The Upset of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. Now, I only read this year, but I'm so thankful for it. And the main reason is that even as a 24-year-old, I could still really see myself in the main character. That was just so great. Like, there were so many things that I were able to relate to, and some of them I was able to relate to when I look back at, you know, when I was 16 or 17, and some of the things I was relating to even now still, and I just thought that was so great. And it was just such a great read and just made me happy and made me feel so many emotions. So I'm just very thankful for that. Then I have Geek Girl by Holly Smale. This is the first book in a 6-book series. So, you know, basically I'm thankful for that whole series, but I want to mention the first book because that is obviously what got me into this. And when I read this one, I really loved it. And I think this actually already made my top list of that year. So I really fell in love with it. But I think when I read this first book, I did not expect to love this whole series as much as I did. And I don't think if, you know, I just had read this first, second, and maybe third one, that it would be something that I'm thankful for. But having read the whole series and having experienced this whole character development that the main character goes through and all of the storylines in it, the romantic storyline and the friendships and the family dynamics, it's just so wonderful. And just really having all of these 6 books to look back at is so beautiful, and I'm just so thankful that I read Geek Girl and experienced this whole series because of that. Then I have Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I have a hard time talking about this because, you know, obviously lots of issues about this have been pointed out in the past couple of years, and I am certainly not someone who, you know, just ignores this. When I read this book, I was so young and I did not see any of the things and the problems in it. I haven't ever reread the books since, and I don't really want to because the memories I have of these books, and while the third one is my favorite, the memories that I have attached to the first one are definitely the ones that are most precious to me. They are just very special, and I just really don't want to lose that feeling of what I felt when I originally read this. It just also always reminds me of the friend that recommended this to me and how she just really hit my exact kind of genre. Like, she just hit a certain love of a genre and of a story that I wasn't even aware of, and she just gave this book to me and she was like, I think you might really enjoy this. And I think at that point she hadn't even read it. I think her mother read it, but she just kind of thought that this would be my thing, and holy shit was she right. And this German edition has, I think, around 800 pages, and I really wasn't a big reader when I read this book, and then all of a sudden I really was able to inhale 800 pages. And I think, like, even though I love this story and everything about this means a lot to me, I think especially as a reader, I'm just thankful, because for the first time this made me realize how much I actually am into reading and how much I can read if I really want to. There's just many reasons why I will forever be thankful for this book, and it's something that, you know, won't be erased however many problematic things are revealed about it. It's just the history and my thoughts of it that I'm still happy and thankful about, even though the story isn't the greatest. Now, I think some of you will be surprised that this is not a little bit higher up on the list, but you will see why later in the list. But yeah, another one would obviously have to be A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. I could mention basically every single book by V.E. Schwab. I wanted to choose this one in particular because I just never read an ending to any book, any trilogy, any series that was as beautiful as this one. There's so many characters involved in this story, and there's so many ways that the story could have ended for any of these, and I think everyone actually got absolute perfect ending. I just think that it was just so well done. I'm just so thankful for what Victoria Schwab has done with these characters in this final book. All of the development that we have, all of the friendship dynamics and the romantic storylines and how they developed. I just felt like this final book was so fulfilling and we just got so much out of it. And I just think that every person's ending was just absolutely perfect, and some of it was heartbreaking, but everything just perfectly fit. Like, it's a perfect fitting puzzle, and that just makes me so happy. And I'm just so thankful, because it's not that normal to have your favorite trilogy ending in such a perfect way. I think you will always find something that, you know, you're not quite happy with, but in this one I simply can't find anything, and I'm so thankful that I got to have this experience, because I know many people, they don't have that experience. They start a trilogy or a series and then they end up being disappointed by the ending, but I could not be happier about this one. Then I have The Hunger Games by Susan Collins. I think this is another given one that many of you would probably expect from a list like this done by me. Well, of course the whole trilogy would belong on this list, but as with Outlander and Geek Girl, I want to just include the first book because, you know, that is what started it all. I don't know, this is another of the books that made me realize how much I love reading and how easy it is for me to read something fast, and how easy it is for me to get into something, and how much I can get emotionally invested in a book. If you know me, you know that being emotionally invested with the storyline and the characters is basically the thing that is most important to me while reading. So this is just a series that I love for so many things, and I'm thankful for so many things, but like mostly because it just made me understand how great reading can be. That's, yeah, I don't even know what to say, because I've been talking about the series for 4.5 years, guys. Then I have Ramona Blue by Julie Murphy, another book that I only read this year and that I still have a hard time even talking about how amazing it is and how thankful I am for it and just how much this touched me. And it's so weird because this character's story is so different from mine, and it's still relatable in a weird way. Just the struggles that this character is going through, I mean, they are still so different from any struggles that I have, but for some reason this is just one of these contemporary novels that just spoke to me on some level, and it's not even because it's relatable or anything like that. I can't explain it. It's just something that was speaking to my soul, okay? I don't have any other way to describe it. The writing was so beautiful as well. It just kind of resonated with some of the thoughts that I had at this time, and even though it were very different thoughts, it was still in a similar vein. I just appreciated that. I think I'm just thankful that this book came into my life at the time that it did, because I think I really needed it at that time. I just loved it. I'm just, just very, very thankful for this book, and I hope that so many more people get to read this and get to be thankful for it. Then I obviously have Graceling by Christine Cashore. Now, this is another one you probably would have expected if you know me just a little bit. This is another one where I still have a little bit of a hard time talking about why I love this so much. Through the rereads I have done, I've definitely figured it out a little bit more. I just love the whole world building, and I love the political intrigue in it. I love the main characters, obviously. Obviously, once again, I'm talking about the whole trilogy, but Graceling was the one who started it, so that's what I'm putting on the list. I love that it's so simplistic, that it doesn't really use many of the tropes. Once again, it's just beautiful, but it doesn't try hard to be beautiful, and I think that's what makes it beautiful. This just, I think, paved the way for so many of the other historical fantasy or general fantasy that I read. And I mean, sometimes I shouldn't really be thankful because I try to compare so many series to this one. If a premise kind of sounds similar to this one, I am expecting it to be like this one. But yeah, I will forever be thankful because this also showed me how much I love this kind of fantasy and how much I just appreciate this kind of writing. Like, still until this day, even though there are a couple of series and trilogies that I would compare to this one and that I would recommend if someone is looking for recommendations because they love this trilogy, there's still not a single book or series that comes close to this world building and this character development and just the feelings I had while reading these books. And that's just amazing. I love this trilogy so much, guys. You know it. And obviously, the one thing that is missing, and I didn't want to put this author on this list 2 times, but you know, I had to include A Conjuring of Light because that one was very special to me as a single book. But obviously, just as I did for, you know, most of the series, there's always one book that starts something, and in that case, it obviously had to be The Archived by Victoria Schwab. And oh my god, because I'm being like so emotional and blah blah blah, I'm trying not to cry because I'm in this emotional state right now because I've been talking about all of these other books. And I mean, there's not even much to say anymore for me about this book because I've been talking about it for so long, and you all know how much I love it. Even if you don't know how much I love this book in particular, you will know how much I love the Shades of Magic trilogy. You will know how much I love Vicious. You will know how much I love the Monsters of Verity duology. So really, there's not much to talk about. It's just this book made so many things happen. Not even the amazing books that I read because of it, but some of the experience I had wouldn't have happened without this book. And I'm not gonna cry on camera again, okay? Enough crying about Victoria Schwab books. Ridiculous. This is also another one of those fantasy books that until this day I'm trying to find something that's equally as good and that makes me feel the same way than this one did. There's just nothing to compare to this book and to the sequel. I'm just so thankful for this book because it's beautiful, because it introduced me to my all-time favorite author that has now been my favorite author for almost 4 years, which is just crazy. And I'm just speechless because I'm just so happy and yeah, very thankful. Anyway, so these are the books that I'm thankful for. If you haven't read these books, then you should definitely read them. Now, obviously, I kind of was very personal with you know, talking about these books, so I guess it's not so much a actual recommendation as it is just me being like soppy. But yeah, probably for most of these books you kind of know what they are about anyway, because I've been talking about them for years. So I guess I don't have to go into any specifics anymore. Anyway, let me know some of the books that you are thankful for whatever reason, and thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!